Hi, everybody. We're going to get started in just a minute. We'll just give everyone a couple of seconds to get logged in, get settled in. A couple more people joining, so we're just going to give it a few moments. All right, we'll just kind of let anybody else trickle in as the webinar begins. So welcome everybody to Innovation PEI's Small Business Webinar Series. We're back after a little break for the summer. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. My name's Madeline. I'm the marketing manager at Innovation. And before I send it off to our presenter today, I just want to go over a couple of housekeeping items. So please note that you're on mute throughout the presentation today, but please feel free to use the chat box at any time throughout the slides. We're going to be answering the questions that come in at the end in a bit of a Q&A. That'll include any of the questions that you asked in the registration as well. And as also today's presentation is going to be recorded, but we will share that recording with you in an email later on this afternoon. If you ever need to go back to rewatch anything, or if you wanted to share it with some friends. So that's everything from me. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Mike to start.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Mike Gillis. I'm a Business Development Officer here at Innovation PEI. Today, we're going to talk about marketing assistance. And marketing assistance is one of the most popular support programs that I work with my clients with. And we'll kind of walk through it. Before we get started, I think I'm going to try to kind of acquaint you with some things here. Who are we? Well, Innovation PEI is a Crown Corporation under the Minister of Economic Development, Innovation and Trade. We're the lead economic development agency for PEI. We're focused on accelerating economic development in PEI by investing in people, innovation, and infrastructure. So we're kind of getting into the teams now. I'm going to kind of jump out of the slideshow for a minute, and I'm going to go into our web page. And I encourage you to do the same when you're after this this presentation. So I'm going to talk just very briefly about some of the things that we do. First of all, on the very home page, the very first page, if you hit business supports.
Sorry to interrupt. We're not able to see the web page. We're still on the slide deck.
Is that right? Okay, I'll go back to that. Sorry about that. Thanks, Madeline.
Yep.
Let me get to you. Yeah. I think I'm going to go back to it. Sorry, folks. Just give me a moment. I'll get back to it. There. Folks, I think I'm just going to go back to the slideshow because I don't want there to be any problem. Here we go.
Looks good.
You can see it now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's a number of teams at Innovation PEI. I'm in this team here, the Business Development and Innovation team. We're responsible for coordination, delivery of information, assistance, kind of administering the support programs that you want to apply for, including marketing assistance. We support businesses at different stages, both startup, expansion, trade development, and then diversification and scaling. So we kind of do a little bit of everything. And I work primarily with Queens County, Charlottetown-based companies, and we have reps all over the province that look after the different regions. And some of our business development officers are very specific in the industries they work in. I'm a bit of a generalist, so I work with a lot of different ones. We also have a cultural development division team, and they work with the culture organizations, the creative people, the associations. They work on initiatives that promote and encourage professionalization, organization, capacity, and expansion for this very important sector. Business Attraction is our team that brings new businesses to Prince Edward Island, and they work very hard at bringing skilled businesses with smart entrepreneurs and job opportunities for Prince Edward Islanders. So that's an important team as well. that works out of Innovation PI. And finally, we have a global trade services team, and that's when you're ready to kind of really export outside of perhaps Canada. And they run a number of missions to different regions. And when you're ready, I would probably refer my clients to one of those representatives to take them to shows and trade shows when they want to expand globally. What do we do? Well, we want to build a stronger PEI. We want to create sustainable employment opportunities. So that's good value back to the province of Prince Edward Island. What do we offer supports for? Well, entrepreneurship, business development, expansion, improvement, perhaps getting investment, job creation, R&D or research and innovation, trade and export development, and finally, business attraction. We want to bring new companies to PEI. All right, this is the topic of the day. We're going to talk about marketing assistance. So it helps PEI-based businesses with their marketing costs to execute exporting plans and activities. So this is an important note right off the bat. This is for export. It's not to promote your business and services within the borders of Prince Edward Island. It's to be outside of PEI. That can be outside in the Atlantic region. It can be all of Canada, and it can be global as well. But that's something that's really important. You have to show that you want to export your product. And often you have to show a little traction that you already have some export sales, but you really want to enhance it and grow it. Okay. How are you eligible for this program? Well, the business has to be located here. We need that. You need to be registered to do business and actively operate in Prince Edward Island. And that can be as a PEI registered business or as a Canadian federal registered business, but your base of operations is here. And this is an important point coming up. You have to manufacture, process, or develop goods and services primarily for export. That means outside of PEI or outside of Canada. Now, we can't kind of do the middleman. So for example, a retail operation that buys the products wholesale from one business and then resells it is not eligible for export or for marketing assistance. It has to be you that primarily manufactures, processes, or develops the goods and services that are being sold and bought to an export client. We operate in different strategic sectors, in particular bioscience, aerospace and defense, renewable energy, and clean tech, ICT, information technology, creative and cultural industries, and in some cases, if it's a first of a kind exportable good or service in a sector we haven't named, we will consider that too. Who's not eligible? Well, if you owe money to the province of PEI, in other words, you're in our province's central default registry, we can't do business with you until that's cleared up. New project submissions from an applicant in default of any reporting or project completion or financial obligations to Innovation PI won't be reviewed until that's resolved. In other words, you may have had another agreement with us, but things haven't been cleaned up or cleared up, or there's something that's required or missing. That needs to be cleaned up first before we can go ahead with the new application. So what kind of activities can we help you with? What can we support you with? So this list is representative, but it can be more. We're going to start off with market research, and that's primary qualitative or quantitative research. Generally, when clients come to me for this, they already have an existing business, say in Prince Edward Island, and they want to expand and they want to know where the opportunities are, what are the sectors and verticals they can probably access, what's the demographic. And this would be hiring a third-party professional to do that research for you and to come up with a report. There should be a deliverable at the end of it. Another activity that we look at is the design and development of new advertising and promotional materials. And it's really just the design and the development of the materials that we're talking about, not the printing. So if you need to print business cards and rack cards and things like that, we can't support you in that. But we can support, say, the marketing firm that develops that branding or that look or that feel, and actually create kind of the PDF or the material that the printer is going to actually print later. Some other sports, new export-oriented advertising or promotional campaign execution. And what I often say to clients about this is, let's say they had a marketing agreement with us before and they focus on a certain area, maybe the eastern seaboard of the United States, and that's fine. We're probably not going to do another marketing agreement that does the exact same thing. But if they said things went well in New England and now we're going to focus on the Midwest, or we're going to focus on all of Canada. So it could be a change of geography where they're trying to promote their materials. Or it could be I've developed a new product line or enhanced, and I gotta push out the new product. So that's what they mean by new export-oriented advertising or promotional campaigns. We support the implementation of e-commerce and digital strategies and social media strategies and campaigns. We help with the development of virtual and digital content and marketing materials, and that could be like, professionally done photographs. It can be, the design of certain things you're going to print and later present. And digital assets, things like that. We do support attendance and exhibition at appropriate trade shows and events. That can be virtual events too. That really came up during COVID. It can support up to 2 participants per company, per event. And this we'd have to talk about before you went and did the trip, but we would probably go through it and see why you're doing it. How does it fit with your marketing plan? And the last one, I don't see as much, but it's market investigation. So maybe you have a good product and you're thinking of another kind of byproduct that can be used, and you need to find out what the market for that might be. So this would, again, probably be a third-party marketing consulting company or firm that would help you to investigate what's the market for this new product or this new development. And we support that as well. And again, that we support more than that, but that's the main list of items we take a look at. Okay, how much can we help you? Well, marketing is fairly generous. We support 40% of eligible costs. The most we can grant in a particular agreement or project is $16,000 from Innovation PEI, which would represent a $40,000 spend for the entrepreneur or the business. It's important to know you don't have to get it all in one year. Sometimes I have clients that they're going to do a small marketing agreement early, and it might be a 6-month agreement, and then they do a subsequent agreement. Maybe there was some marketing research or investigation that was in the first agreement that'll help guide them in the second one. So you can do more than one a year. It says up to 2. And the maximum contribution, though, that we can grant to the company is $16,000 in a 12-month period. So maybe your first grant could be $8,000 and the next one could be 4. And that's fine. We can do that. We will consider requests for increased funding levels for large projects associated with product launches or new market entry. However, the period in which the applicant can reapply will be adjusted based on the additional funds. And I think what that means is if it was an enormous launch that's going to cost a lot of money, and not many of my clients want to do that right out of the gate, then we may consider slightly over the 16,000, but we just move the calendar. Like maybe we'd spread it over 2 years. But I've only done that once or twice. So usually it's that first example, that it's the one project up to $16,000 in a 12-month period. Okay. The next comment is really about combining our grant perhaps with another government agency like the federal government of Canada, maybe NACOA. You can get more than one source of grant or funding, but we can't, in our policies, we can't exceed 75%. So you're going to end up paying at least 25% if you're working with us. Let's say an entity like ACOA gives you 40%. Well, instead of us giving you 40%, we would give 35% because 40 plus 35 would equal 75. Some people call that our stacking policy. So you could get up to 75% on eligible costs. Just one more thing on the eligible costs. We do not consider HST an eligible cost. It's just the base cost. As a business, you should be able to reapply to get your HST costs back as a business. So how do you apply? Well, Innovation PI encourages potential applicants to consult with an Innovation PI business development for guidance on the suitability of the project and the application process. And if it is a good candidate, the business development office may recommend some alternative programs. What we're really saying there is it's a good idea to contact Innovation PI first. And if you already have a business development officer like me, give them a call and say, this is what I have in mind. And we'll talk it through, because instead of you maybe going through a lot of work that may not lead to a good outcome, maybe we can discuss it. And perhaps there's another program that's better suited to what you want to do. But I do that all the time with clients. I had one this morning call me up, and it was another program, capital assistance, and they had finished that one, and now they're moving to a new stage, into a new facility, and we discussed the new one, and then we discussed some other programs with it, and we kind of almost mapped out a little pathway for them for the next 12 months when they're going to do things. So really encourage you to reach out to Innovation PEI. If you don't have a business development officer, just tell them what you're looking for, and they'll direct them at the front desk. Will direct them to someone like me, and we'll chat and we'll figure it out for you. So once you're ready to apply, you can apply online. We also have printable application forms available on request. I can email you a fillable PDF business development application. And yeah, you can do it hard copy still if you want to, and mail it to us or fax it to us. I will tell you though, doing it online is usually faster. It'll come into our system and it'll be directed to a business development officer to begin the process of analyzing and processing that application. It says here, let's review an application. I think that's a great idea, but I think first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, let me have a look here. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to share the program page with you. All right. Just be patient. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to pull this down. There. Madeline, can you see the marketing assistance program page?
Yes. Yep. That looks great.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this narrative here because we just discussed it on the slideshow, but I encourage you to go to this webpage, Prince Edward Island.ca, English Services Marketing Assistance. You can get to it by doing a browser search, but if you want to, you can just go to the Innovation PEI page. I'll bring it up now. Can you see that, Madeline? Yeah.
Yes, looks good.
Okay. And on the homepage, if you hit business supports, it'll bring all the programs in alphabetical order. And ours is marketing. I'll go next. There we go. And there, yeah, that's it there. And it should take you to this page here. If you're at this page, this is the page where you get all the information about our program that I've already discussed, and the application as well. So I'll scroll down this material that we already covered. Here. Okay. There is a little bit here that I didn't cover, so I'll look at it really fast. Just because you meet some of the criteria doesn't mean we necessarily approve everything that we get. We look at financial statements, we look at some different things, but some of the criteria we also consider is the potential for long-term viability of the business. Do you have any existing export sales? And if you do, are they trending up? What are the qualifications of the managers or the founders or the entrepreneurs? This is an interesting one. Sometimes we say, how much import does the export of this Prince Edward Island-based company substitute? So that's a nice criteria. If you're substituting some imports that are coming into the province with home-developed, homegrown services and products, that's important. We always want to know what the economic benefit to the province PEI is. What availability of program funds are there? Are there any jobs being created? What's the level of assistance from other government supports? And you may say, oh, well, they'll think if I'm getting support from somewhere else, maybe Innovation PI won't help. But that's not true, actually. It's very reassuring when we know that other government agencies have confidence in your product and your services and want to work with you on a marketing application or project. Okay, we can at times check in on you, and we will, to see how you're doing, how the project is proceeding. Okay, and that'll all be explained in a letter of offer or an agreement that will be sent to you if you're accepted for your marketing assistance application, and you can review it thoroughly, but it has criteria in there about checking in, how to claim for funds and things like that. This is a bit of a reputation. It's saying basically check with Innovation PI, talk to a business development officer to help guide you in the application process. So what do you need to apply? And I often encourage people during my pre-session with them to get some things ready for the application before they submit it. So an outline of the history of your business. I often ask people, do you have a business plan? And if they do, great. If not, there are resources I can send you to help you write your own business plan. There's also some funding in some of our smaller programs to help write a business plan with a third-party consultant, where we might be able to help cover some of the costs, but that's a subject for another presentation. We love to see financial statements. Now, if you're a startup, you're right out of the gate, we realize you may not have financial statements yet, and that's okay. But we would like to see, both in combination with your business plan, some cash forecasts. Like, what do you think? And we're looking to see, where do you see the growth will be? Where's the revenue coming from? Have you broken down the day-to-day costs that you're going to experience in your first year of operation? And to be fair, usually marketing assistance is not the program you're applying for when you're in your first year, but it could happen. So that's fine too. But we really like to see your financial statements. This is just a piece of advice I'd offer anyone. If you don't have bookkeeping services or kind of an accountant that you can consult with, it's not that you can't do your own books, but it's really good to talk to an accounting professional to help you set up your financial statements, help you with that first corporate tax return if you're incorporated. And those things can be used to add to the application. Okay, we already talked about a business plan. So next is the description of the proposed project or activity in relation to the products or services delivered by the businesses. A lot of people write a little narrative. It could be in Word. It could be in another word processing software like Google Docs, and that's fine. And some people just submit it right into the application, which we're going to go into in a second. We want to have some narrative on the economic benefits to the organization and to PEI. So this is important. You need a budget. So detailed information on the estimated cost of the project or activity. Often when I'm working with clients and we have a pre-discussion before the application based on what we discussed, we'll kind of develop a little Excel spreadsheet that I call the budgets and activities template, and it's very simple. I can send it to you, or you can create it yourself. But basically, it's the things you think you're going to purchase or you're going to contract out to a marketing firm. You can have the estimates before, which is great. But if not, you want to have a fairly realistic estimate of what the cost will be and what the activities and outcomes will be from the project. So you may take a little time to figure your project activity and budget, and you want to have that before you apply. Where are the funds coming from? Is it money out of your own pocket? Do you have a loan? Do you have some grants? Things like that. An explanation of your current market position and projected market. Where are you now in terms of the overall market, and where would you like to be? How will the marketing plan help you get there? This is kind of important. It may be pretty simple if you're just starting out. It could be an incorporation with 2 or 3 people. Often you can find that on your business registry and submit that if you want. Or if you want to just put it in the business plan or on narrative in an email, it's fine. As long as we know who the shareholders are and who the key management people are, and they can have dual roles, of course. I think this is a statement about confidentiality. Yeah. No, this is not. Okay. It's just saying contact your BDO for, processes and how to get your application done right. Okay, let's go into the online application for now. There we go. So there's several steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to go through them all, but it's pretty basic stuff. You're going to put in your business name, contact information, tombstone information like that. Some phone numbers. You're going to select a business development region, Prince, Queens, or Kings. And this is an export marketing application. So we don't mean that's where you're going to market. It's where are you located. This is important because sometimes the actual business's legal name is different than, the name that you do business under, and that's fine. If you have a website, we love to see it. And then you hit next page. And I don't think I'm going to do that because, I don't want to get into the process of filling it out. It's pretty straightforward. If you have the information we discussed on the previous page, like here, you should be able to fill out the application here. And at the end, when you hit the submit button, you'll get, you can print off a page. And on that page, it'll give you the number of the application. You just submit it. And then we'll take a look at it. And one of us business development officers will get in touch with you to start discussing the processing of that application that you submitted. Okay. I think I'm going to go back here. All right. I'm going to stop sharing for now. Here now. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Just give me a minute here. Okay. So, Madeline, I'm going to hand it back over to you for a minute. This is the point, I think, where we take some questions.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. That was great. Good, helpful information. We haven't had many questions in the chat. We didn't get many throughout, but if anyone has any right now, please throw them in there. We can also, when I share the recording of this later on today, we can share Mike's contact info there if you have any questions that come up after. But we did get a question in the registration page. Somebody asked about if a nonprofit could also apply for these grants. Did you want to take that one, Mike?
Sure. So unfortunately, the Marketing Assistance Program is for-profit businesses operating out of Prince Edward Island only. I think because its whole function is to develop export leads that lead to export sales, the nonprofit sector is not included in the group of eligible participants. So sorry about that, but that's the policy.
Thank you. And the chat is still pretty quiet here, so
Yep.
I think we can just wrap it up there. Like I said, we recorded this session, so I'll share that with everybody on this line here later on this afternoon. And along with Mike's contact info, if you have any additional questions, please scan that QR code there if you want to sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date with anything that we have going on. And Mike, I'll send it over to you for the send off.
Okay, thanks very much. All I can say, folks, is the Marketing Assistance Program is an extremely helpful program for companies that are either exporting already and want to gain more market penetration and traction. And it's also excellent for a company that's venturing out into marketing outside of the borders of Prince Edward Island. I can't stress enough, the best thing to do if you're thinking about it at all is give us a call, and we will walk through the options with you. And it may be marketing assistance, or maybe the stage of business you're at now would you be better served with a different program that does some marketing. But whatever you do, please reach out. You're going to share my contact information, Madeline, so people can contact me directly. I love that. And we'll look after you if you give us a call. Hope you take advantage of the Marketing Assistance Program, and thank you for your time.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, everyone. Thanks.